and welcome to the podcast, Living Uncertain. This podcast is dedicated to obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD, and the primary treatment, exposure response prevention, ERP. OCD comes in many forms, such as contamination, perfectionism, checking, harm, superstitious, religious or moral, sexual orientation, and/or relationship. ERP is the gold standard to treating OCD, and it focuses on deliberately confronting fears, the exposure, while refraining from compulsive rituals, the response prevention. With repeated exposures and without engaging in compulsions, we learn to tolerate anxiety and break the cycle of intrusive thoughts. We are a married couple that have faced both the challenges of OCD and the incredible healing that ERP can provide to your marriage, family, and your home. As a person who lives with OCD, I am much more than this diagnosis. We all can be. Hi, y'all. I'm Stacee, and along with my husband, Marc, we want to thank you for living uncertain with us. As all of you know by now, this is the podcast that talks all things OCD and ERP related, and welcome to episode 18. We are going to be discussing more of the topic that OCD is both a liar and a thief. This is part 2. And if you joined us last week, our topic was all about how OCD is in fact both a liar and a thief and wants you to believe a truth that isn't true and can steal so much of your life. And ERP, as we've talked about, being the gold standard of treatment, can really bring back what you've lost.
And last week you talked about how it stole parts of your life.
Oh, yes, of course. Absolutely.
And what it did for you.
Mm-hmm.
And for part 2,
Yep,
we thought we would talk about the other side, the
Yes.
spouse's perspective,
Uh-huh.
and what your OCD, how
Yep.
it has stolen parts of our
From you.
life as well.
Directly from you, directly from our marriage,
From our
family.
kids.
Yep.
Yep. You know, so I'm going to leave us, what it stole from us last.
Oh, interesting.
And
Okay.
and we'll fast forward to the kids.
Okay.
So some of the stuff that I recognized that it had stolen from the kids was their ability to have freedoms around doing things like going on a walk by themselves as they got older, going out with friends, going to, do sleepovers. If it wasn't a place that you did not know or you were not sure of,
Yeah.
and when they went out of your eyesight, it became very traumatic for you,
Yes.
and your anxiety went through the roof.
Yes. It definitely exceeded what typical normal parenting, mothering worry would be or is.
Well, you wouldn't let them.
Well, correct. And I remember in our last episode, what I talked about most was that it stole my mother's intuition.
Yep.
So I can't trust my mother's intuition. So I also have intrusive thoughts surrounding death. And so my intrusive thought would be, if they're away and out of my eyesight, they're dead. I know that's very gruesome and macabre to say that, but it is just a straight up truth that would be the intrusive thought. And so I held the kids back from doing a lot of the things that most children are able to do.
And I don't know if they hold any ill will against you for that. That's something we're gonna have to ask them down the road. I'm sure that they are frustrated. They got frustrated with
Oh
it.
yeah, I know.
We know Miles did.
Yeah.
He even recently said it to us, like, all my friends get to stay out till, wee hours of the night and da da da. Well, now he's 18 and he gets to do what he wants, but
he has helped though so much, giving me the ERP that I needed to get past that. And a lot of what we've done in therapy has involved the kids now, because a lot of my intrusive thoughts were them related, if you will. And so we've come up with ways that they could participate, so to speak, in the ERP and know that this is a moment that I'm going to have to just go through and live through and let the anxiety rise until it releases on its own and not engage in the compulsions.
And when you started the ERP, which was, February, almost 2 years ago now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Year and a half at least, and Miles had not he was driving, but not a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He was a new driver, and your anxiety around him driving, you knew you had to allow him to do it. He was working.
Yes.
But we weren't allowing him to drive at night necessarily, or
no, and because when he was first driving, I remember thinking, well, now I can look back on it and realize that I was doing a lot of checking in with you for reassurance because I didn't want my anxiety to go up, because if he was in a car, he was not coming home. That was my truth, which was not the truth, which is exactly what we're talking about. And so I know that what I would do is get reassurance from you, check in to make sure that he was okay. And then I stopped engaging in that particular compulsion. So I had to let my anxiety go up and come back down. And he knew that that was happening, and still went out and drove and did things outside of school. And those things definitely
they were ERP for you.
Incredibly ERP for me, and incredibly helpful on the other side of things, if you will, because now he is 18, he's about to go to college, and things have shifted in a pretty dramatic way, I think, for the better.
I do think that it has shifted. You're not checking in with me. You're not checking 360 to see where he's at. You're not doing those things.
I'm not forcing him to text me every 10 to 15 minutes.
Or text us when you get there, that type of thing. That's not happening as much. But there are some of the bigger pieces that I see that he is still limited with. Some of the things like he says, like, oh, I want to go camping with my friends this summer. And you always kind of say, no. And I don't know if that's because you don't want him gone overnight.
No, the gone overnight's not the issue. Not anymore. No, not anymore.
Ish.
The camping one gets me, though. The camping one, I feel like if he goes camping, I'll never see him again.
Yeah. So that is still part of that ERP stuff that you'll still have to do. Like, he hasn't even driven out of town on his own. He hasn't done a bigger trip per se, if you want to call it that, like a driving.
Ew, that's not comfortable, but okay.
But he hasn't driven on the highways. He's driven on the freeways, but not the highways.
I would be more comfortable with him doing that now than I would have been 2 years ago, certainly.
Yeah.
The staying overnight in different places, especially something like camping, that definitely triggers me a little bit, and it triggers that feeling of, or that OCD truth that won't stop looping, which is if he does that, he won't come back. And I do that with our daughter. Like, our daughter is about to be 15. She's just started to take some walks around our neighborhood on her own. And my initial couple of times letting her do that, I was sitting in the, I'll never see her again.
Mm-hmm.
She won't come back. If I let her go, she won't come back.
So, like, right now, Miles can go out and about without any problems, but Avery can't.
No.
So you've moved one target to another.
Yes.
Just like Miles' graduation, when the cousins came down and and Avery and them, they went walking into the crowd on the football field, and you lost sight of them. Your anxiety
And my
went up.
immediate thought, my truth became, I'm never seeing them again.
Yeah. Which is just as bad as death.
Yeah,
It's
it's basically what it is. It's basically she's going to get killed or kidnapped or die somehow, or something's going to happen. Like, that's immediate truth for me. As irrational and silly as it sounds to everyone else, that's what OCD has done to me, is it's lied. And it's made the untruth very true.
Yeah. So in that way, our kids are shackled to the inability to, to be able to go out and do things, you know. So that's that thief part.
They're limited, and that is what is what my OCD has stolen from them.
You know, because
absolutely,
you know, I 30 years older than Miles, you know, and you know, when I was his age, man, I used to go camping all the time, and I know times have changed.
Are we going to talk about when you were you were 18 now? Because that was like,
3 decades ago.
That was in the 1900s.
Yes.
Apparently that's what our kids say now. We're
old.
That's what the kids say now.
You know, but you know, when I used to go camping all the time, and I like, how did my parents just let me jump in the car
without a cell phone, without 360, without all the technology we have today?
3-4 friends, and we'd jump in, my car, and we would go almost every weekend. But
sounds like I'm going to have more conversations with your mother, is what that sounds like.
Yeah.
In a good way, in terms of
figure out
how did you do that, and how can I?
Because, and for me, like, as a parent, I don't necessarily worry about Miles going, just as an experience of doing it.
Sure. Which is a normal parental worry.
Yeah. I had at least experience. My parents went camping all the time.
Yep.
That was, and I mean, you guys did too in different ways, as well. But, my parents went camping all the time. So I had that experience. We don't do that with our kids per se. I mean, I've taken him a couple times, but he's been little.
Do you have any idea? You have no idea what happened to me when you took him camping.
No.
Yeah, man.
But your mom was with you.
Yeah.
And you guys probably had to stay busy.
Oh, yeah. Because it's not just anything like camping related, for example. That intrusive thought of you'll never come back isn't just exclusive to the kids. Like, if you went camping, I'm thinking the same thing. If a friend of ours goes camping, I'm thinking the same thing. Like, it's just
I will tell you, I remember that last one that Miles and I took, and we went fishing. I had to get in the car, in the truck, and drive out of the canyon so that I could get cell service to give you a call to you, so you knew that we were okay.
I know. And I really appreciated that. And I will say right here, ladies and gentlemen, that is absolute true love. And that is why I am still standing here today in the most successful spot that I've ever been in, because if it were not for this man to go through this journey with me, I would not be where I am. So more evidence and more kudos to you, babe, because you did have to do that. But
what I should have done is just what I would do now is just let you sit in it.
Out of love.
Yes.
Still true love.
And have you go through that feeling.
It made me feel better if you said it.
True love.
Thank you.
So in hindsight, that's a lot of the things that I see that have been stolen from the kids.
Yes.
They had to be basically, that monkey backpack that you put on a little toddler so they don't run away from you.
With the leash.
With a leash. Theirs was an invisible monkey backpack,
with a leash.
Still.
Yeah.
I mean, graduation was only 2-3 weeks ago. And
okay.
you were freaking out with Avery walking away.
Yes.
And
I had no issue with Miles, though. He was out there living his best life with everyone else, and I was great with it. But it wasn't until Avery walked away and I couldn't see her. And then immediately the intrusive thought was, oh my God, I'm never going to see her again.
You've done the ERP with Miles.
Right.
But we have not done the ERP with Avery.
Well, guess what?
And we're going to be doing that. We're going on vacation.
We are.
We're actually going to take a vacation. We haven't taken a vacation in
a long time.
over,
Would you like to
well, 7
tell
years.
our listeners
Really.
why we haven't been on many vacations? Because
Well,
what's happened on vacations when we've gone on them?
yeah. So vacations are, this is the part for me that's kind of been a thief, is the ability to enjoy vacations, because for myself, I was always trying to do damage control.
Well, there was always a lot of checking in.
Always, no, it was checking in, making
reassurance.
sure everything was okay, making sure that you felt good.
Well, then
It
I was
was-
always checking in with you to
Oh,
make
yeah.
sure that everything was okay.
But then in turn, you check in with me. I was always checking in, trying to check in with you first.
Oh, and the plot thickens, everybody.
And to make sure
Interesting.
that you were okay, because
Yep,
I
we
knew
can
that
see that.
vacations were never good.
Right.
You know, we went to Costa Rica 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now I think that was the last,
Mm-hmm.
besides going on the Colorado River, you know, for those days. That was like the last
Mm-hmm. That was the last
real
trip
vacation
or vacation
that
we
we've
did,
done. Yeah. And, you know, even with Miles and I going zip lining and stuff, you know, that was a big piece. Like,
because if you do that, you won't come home.
yeah.
Like there's always that component to my particular OCD, which is that that's an intrusive thought and a lie that's been told to me by my OCD. Of course, there's many other facets to my OCD, which we've kind of explored in this podcast. But that's one that still comes up a lot. And you're right. It's better with Miles now, but with Avery, it's still very difficult.
Which then makes vacations very unenjoyable for me. And I know they're not enjoyable for you, but they're not enjoyable for me. Like, I mean, we went, you know, was it last summer before, when we went to San Diego so that we could go sailing?
Yes.
I remember the first night in the hotel, or first 20 seconds in the hotel room, we were having a fight.
Because I was having a
meltdown.
OCD based
Meltdown.
Completely anxiety driven meltdown, yes.
Yeah.
Because you
in front of the kids.
Sail
Yep.
in the ocean.
Yep.
For the first time. And in my brain, he would
dead.
go out in that water and he wasn't coming back. Man, y'all, this is.
So here we are coming up. We have a 10-day vacation that we plan on going on.
Mm-hmm.
So myself.
We are taking ERP on the road, y'all.
We're going to have to, because this vacation is going to be enjoyable for all of us.
I agree. So here's the deal. Miles is not going on this trip.
No.
This is you and I and Avery going on this trip.
Because Miles, this is the other piece of it. Now everybody's sitting there going, well, why aren't you taking your other kid? Because, he should be able to be part of that family trip too and everything. Well, he's going to Washington, D.C.
Yes.
Before we even get home.
Which is ERP enough for me. Really?
So he's got to get himself to the airport, get on the plane. It's a school event still. Yeah. I mean, because he won first place for his fashion design stuff in the States. So now he's going to compete nationally.
Right.
And they're leaving before we get back. And he's there for 5 or 6 days.
Mm-hmm.
So that part right there alone is going to be ERP that day that he's supposed to leave.
Him not even being with us.
Yes. He's going to be at home.
Being home by himself for about a week before he even goes to DC. Yeah.
So we're going to have that layer. Like you say, oh, I'm going to be fine with it. I'm going to be fine with him. I'm going to be fine with him.
I want to be
home.
Y'all listen, I want to be so much. And I'm prepared for the challenges that OCD will still bring to my life, but I'm better armed to handle them. And I see the benefit of the ERP and I want it. And so I'm going to do it.
That's why I know this vacation will be more enjoyable.
I agree.
And there probably will be times that you're going to be needing to practice
Well,
that
everyone's
ERP.
going to be able to listen to that, aren't
Yeah.
they? Because we're taking, like I said, we're taking the ERP on the road.
Yeah. So
This will be fun.
And then also on top of it, the reason why we're doing this trip is because, Avery has a friend that lives in Canada that she hasn't met, and
so we're
that we're going to drive and
visit them. Yeah.
Yep. And in turn, they're going to want to do things.
Ew.
And she might not be in your eyesight.
Ew.
But what's the one thing you always ask her before she does something?
It's, please don't take that away from me.
This is going away. What's the one thing?
Come on now.
What's
If
the
I
one
say it
thing?
out loud, though, then that means that that's part of a compulsion that I probably am engaging in.
You absolutely are engaging in a compulsion. You know it.
Come on. But I've gotten rid of so many others.
I know, but you still have a lot to go through.
Ugh. Okay. Is your phone charged?
Yep.
It's important.
Well,
If
no,
she
it
needs to call us.
absolutely is important, but it's not the end all. Once again, I would go camping without a phone, and I made it back.
In the 1900s.
She knows our phone numbers.
Listen, I get it. The logical part of my brain takes over now, and I can enjoy and live in the moment and live uncertain, as we teach others to do in this podcast. I get it. But I do. It's like an automatic response to ask her. And I don't even ask Miles anymore if his phone is charged. I always just only ask her.
No, you've gone through ERP with him.
And now I have to go through it with her.
Yeah.
She's about to be 15. She's going into high school. There are going to be things coming up for her that I know I will want to hold her back from doing. And I don't want to do that. Because I know how many things I held myself back from doing at her age. Like, we've talked about this too. About 15 was about when I started to notice my OCD symptoms. And I held myself back from doing a lot of things in my younger years, in my 20s and 30s. And I don't want to see that for them. I am now just experiencing life for the first time. And
And we don't want to do that for them either.
We don't. I no.
And Avery deals with anxiety herself too.
Yes.
And so this is a big deal.
Yes.
For her to be able to go. She went to a birthday party with friends with people she didn't know.
That was a big step.
That was a huge step for her, but she stayed the full 2.5 hours and, made it through it.
She did.
So there's.
This is, again, we've talked about this in therapy and at home and on this podcast, most likely, which is that this is not just for me to go through this journey and to overcome. It is for the betterment of you and for our kids, our marriage, and our family. And that's been my biggest priority since day one.
So that's, I think, that's one piece that has taken away from them.
Yes.
The inability
what
to.
It's stolen from them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And now the other piece that I have recognized over the years, and this is your people-pleasing compulsion.
Ew.
And it was people-pleasing your boss. Instead of asking for time off to go to kids' events at school, the driving piece, stole that from them. And then your inability to, or you didn't want to upset your boss. And to ask for time off and use part of your PTO to go watch a play or whatever it was. And, they received awards
I missed a lot of their
you live
early childhood moments like that.
Yeah, you live their childhood moments through pictures.
Yeah, I do. You're right.
And
that's also very painful. I could start to cry almost
I
thinking
know
about that.
I know that's a hard one.
But you're right. I constantly wanted to please people in my life, my boss being number one way back when. And then when I became the boss, I went the other direction.
Yeah.
And I started people pleasing the employees so much that it became a slippery slope for me to then come back from.
Yeah, because you're allowing them
So,
to go and do
the people pleasing has stolen, I can't even tell you how much.
Yeah.
The people pleasing and the need to leave things just right. If I'm texting, emailing, or talking to someone, those moments have stolen so much. And I don't want to do that anymore.
No, and for you and I, you know,
here we go. There's the big one. Let's talk about you.
So like that people pleasing.
Yeah.
You're always doing things to make sure I was good.
Of course.
And everybody out there listening going, wow, that would be great if my spouse just, agreed with everything that I, wanted to do or needed or what, yes, that sounds wonderful. But then there's some resentment on the back end.
Yeah.
There's resentment, like purchasing a boat. Yeah, go ahead and do it. But I know there's resentment on the back end of it. After
yes, because the people pleasing, after I would do or say something that was not in my best interest or not something that I felt was a good idea, or I had a difference of opinion or whatnot, and felt completely paralyzed to share any of that.
But how many times would I check in with you to make sure, are you sure about this? You sure about this? You sure about it?
And I would always say yes. And then on the other side, I would think, well, I have no voice. That's the other thing that OCD steals from you. It steals your voice, especially those of us who have a people pleasing or just right tendency in that way. It completely stole my voice. I had no opinion of my own. I had no thoughts of my own. I had no way of sharing what I really wanted, because what I wanted was inconsequential.
So you thought.
Well, that was another lie that OCD told me.
Yeah.
Which then we could do this like part 3, part 4, part 5 kind of thing, because really this is a lot of what happens is OCD tells you a truth that isn't actually true.
And then unfortunately,
it steals.
It does. And then maybe later it comes out that you weren't necessarily happy that a decision that I might have made or a choice that I had made because you didn't want to upset. And then it became a fight between us.
That became a conflict between you and I.
Yeah.
Yes.
It definitely would become a conflict. The other aspects of it is, you and I would have an opinion, and then your people pleasing side of it would override that pivotal moment for that opinion, such as maybe getting rid of certain people or whatever.
We're talking about the business again. Which is fine. And that's true. That you had strong opinions about different ways of handling the employees and the business itself, and I could never get there. It was just the idea of not people pleasing, or the idea of not leaving a conversation just right. And oftentimes that meant I was giving in to something that I shouldn't have been giving into, or I was not expressing myself the way I wanted to, because that was my way of feeling like, okay, I've left it just right. And that is better than anything else.
And it's
since learned.
It's not like we didn't terminate people employment there. We did. We after we bought it, we terminated 2 of our front office managers.
We did.
Or 2 front office people.
Did.
But that was because the front office manager wanted that to happen. So you wanted to please her. Now, granted, it needed to happen. They were not.
They weren't being
effective.
It became more of in my mind, it became more a way of pleasing our office manager versus doing what was actually in the best interest of our company.
And so what stole from me
was your voice.
Was my voice. I always felt like you prioritized them and their opinions over mine when we were supposed to be doing that together.
And that's a true statement.
And in that 3 years was a very difficult
It was
time.
the worst 3 years of our life.
Yeah.
We're going to just put it out there in the world.
It was
our business ownership years, the 3 years we owned the company that we did, that was the absolute worst 3 years of our life.
It was a dumpster on fire going down a river.
Over a waterfall. Into 3 feet of water below.
So, but we learned a lot. And
Yeah.
the biggest thing that came out of it was
my diagnosis.
Your diagnosis and your
therapy.
treatment. That was the best thing that could ever have come from this.
100%. And to be truthful and just real, every day since has been the best days that we've ever had.
Yep.
If those 3 years were the worst, every day since those 3 has been the absolute best that we've ever had. For me personally, for our children, for our marriage, everything.
Yep. And a lot of it,
only getting better.
I take because you have gone through ERP.
Yeah.
And you're still going through it.
Oh yeah.
Hence our vacation coming up. It's going to happen.
I'm aware.
It is absolutely going to happen. I know it. You know it.
More now with the ERP. I know it's coming. I want it. I embrace it. I might be a little unsure at the time that I want it, but I do know what's on the other side.
But you know where it's coming from too.
And I also know where it's coming from. And I also know that it's helping me rewire my brain in a new way that is going to enhance my life and the lives of the people I love the most.
It's that boogeyman that's knocking at your door.
Oh, yeah.
But you still have those little safety chains.
I do. And I still have to think about checking in with you. And I still have to fight that compulsion. And in a later podcast, I want to talk about mental compulsions, because those are the ones that I've had to keep myself the most accountable for, because those are the ones that are most invisible to everyone else.
Yeah.
And I have created kind of a system for myself based on the tools and the techniques we've learned in therapy. And I really do truly try to keep myself as accountable as possible when I find that those mental compulsions start to ramp up.
So it's going to be fun.
Here we go.
Our son's going to be home.
Oh.
He's going to be going on a trip on his own.
Yeah, just keep saying it out loud, because that really...
Our daughter's going to be potentially out of your sight.
Ew.
Especially when she gets together with her friend.
Ew. Not the friend part, just I don't want her out of my sight. Especially, she's not only going to be out of my sight, she's going to be out of sight in a city that we don't know very well.
Yeah.
Ew. Not fun. It's okay. I'm ready.
But you're ready for the challenge. And that's why I know this will probably be one of the best vacations we've had, because you are going to be ready for that challenge.
Yes.
You have the tools in your toolbox to tackle that anxiety. And graduation, you did it a little bit.
Oh, I absolutely engaged in a compulsion during graduation, because I've followed them.
But you started to try to allow your anxiety to go up.
I did.
But then you went into the compulsion.
And I followed them more than I was ready to ask you if they were okay. I knew I couldn't ask you, because I knew what you would say.
Yeah.
Which I bet if we turned on, our listeners could recite it to you.
But once again, we always talk about there's a time and a place to practice ERP.
Correct.
And when there's, 1,000 people standing on a football field, it is probably not the place to allow your anxiety and a panic attack to happen.
Mm-hmm. True.
In front of all those people.
That is so true. Well, see, that makes me feel a little bit better. Okay.
Well, now you're just like saying, "Oh, it's okay because of."
So I'll just make sure that we're never outside of at least 1,000 people the whole time we're on our trip.
But I do know that that's something that I have to watch as well.
Yes.
It's the how many people are around, what's
Sure.
the what's going on, because if it's not a safe thing, then we don't do it.
I agree. And that's why there's so much trust between you and I too in this
Yeah.
journey, that I know you are just on top of it as I am, or try to be. And I think that the idea that I have this partner, y'all, that is so willing to take this huge step forward with me and to be consistent with me is so unique, that I really encourage other partners of people with OCD out there to, I don't know how to finish that statement, honestly, but I feel so
Do the journey together.
compelled to say something, that it's just been so life altering in the most and best of ways. And I couldn't have done it without my partner, my husband, this man sitting across from me right now, who has been incredibly instrumental in this for me. And the fact that he's still talking about his awareness of it, and when it's okay to do ERP and when it's not, or when there's grace and when there's not, or when it's, he's going to manufacture some ERP for me, and I trust that, and I know where it's coming from now.
Love.
Yes. And it's I can't tell you, from the person who has OCD and who has dealt with it for so long, to what I feel having a partner willing to do this with me. I wish the whole world could experience this. And I hope that a lot of other couples going through what we've been through can do this together.
Now, I don't have OCD. I've never claimed to have OCD. I don't know what goes through your mind or how you feel. I can only imagine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a hard, or I take my own personal stuff and go, okay, this is the struggles that she's dealing with, or kind of have that same type of feeling. And I know it's like tenfold, because I've watched what OCD has done to you, your panic attacks, your anxiety, how debilitating it has been.
Mm-hmm.
I've never claimed to have any type of OCD. And anybody that's out there, that partner, that's probably the hardest thing to see somebody go through that treatment or go through that diagnosis of OCD. It's just like somebody that's going through cancer. Unless you've been through it yourself, you have no idea. And you can't just have a little bit of cancer. You can't just have a little bit of OCD. It's either you have it or you don't. And that piece is the hard one. Like when we hear people say, "Oh, I have OCD too," no, you don't.
Yeah.
That's a bunch of bullshit.
That's a really hard one for me too. I'll admit that.
That's bullshit.
And
You don't
I've
have
heard
OCD.
that a few times lately.
Especially when we talk about your,
Yeah.
we share about your story. Oh, I have OCD. No, you don't. That's bullshit.
Okay.
It's just like,
You feel very strongly about this.
no, I
David.
do,
We
because
appreciate
it's like,
that. And it's true. It is very true. And that's, again, what makes it the most misunderstood mental health diagnosis out there. And it's very disrespected in a lot of ways. And
mhm.
and to those of us who suffer the debilitating piece of it the way that we do, and I know there are so many of us out there, it becomes a real challenge. That becomes an extra challenge and an extra frustration for us to have to deal with.
Because it is so misunderstood.
Yes.
From what it actually is.
Yes.
And what it can be, because whatever your mind can think up,
it's there.
It
OCD is right there.
It can be there
to tell you.
And your targets change constantly, because it was on Miles, now it's on Avery, and it was on the girls, and now it's on other people, and it's constantly changing.
Absolutely.
And it's like, what bullseye are you shooting for at that moment? And for me, as your partner, you're that's the hardest thing, to try to figure out where it's going to be targeting. because, I'm always having to, that's where I feel like I'm trying to figure out what is it trying to attach onto. It's like,
Yeah.
you know,
And we've said this before too. We're a lot more than just this diagnosis. Like, I am more than that diagnosis. Marc is more than what this diagnosis has done and meant to him. Our family is as well. We have so much to be grateful for, and we're very blessed. And there's so many things that we have going on in our life. But this journey has become so impactful. It has prompted us to start this community of living uncertain, and we want to try to build on that community. So we've developed an Instagram, and we're trying to put different things on our Instagram that are impactful to people, and Facebook, yes, podcast_living uncertain, so that we can continue helping and building this community of those of us who live with OCD and those who have partners ready and willing to stand by them and help the process as much as they can.
And I know there's other people out there that are advocates for OCD, and we just want to be able to help.
Oh my gosh, we
just want to help build.
We herald those of you who are out there building your own platforms. We champion you. We are excited to be a part of that community alongside of you all, and hopefully we can make an impact.
And that's because it is so misunderstood.
Yeah.
We need to bring awareness to it.
Absolutely.
So once again, everybody, thank you for living uncertain with us.
Thank you for listening.
Okay.
Until next time. Thank you for joining us on today's episode and living uncertain with us. We are not therapists, and this podcast is intended to provide information and support. It should not replace traditional means of seeking help from a licensed mental health professional. If you like this episode or would like to hear more, please like, subscribe, or share with someone you think may benefit. Here at Living Uncertain, we're building a community of support. If you and your significant other would like to share your story, we would love to have you on the podcast. Please click on the link in the episode description and fill out the interest form.